everybody. Welcome to the program. Support for this program comes from ZBiotics. Now, let's be honest. After a night out with drinks, I don't bounce back the way that I used to. I used to feel like I had to choose between a great night or a great next day. That changed when I found ZBiotics pre-alcohol. ZBiotics pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic created by PhD scientists to help you feel better the next day. Now, when you drink, alcohol turns into a toxic byproduct right in your gut. It's that buildup, not dehydration, that causes rough mornings. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme that breaks it down. Now, I take it before my first drink, enjoy the night, and the next morning I actually feel like myself. So if you want to feel like yourself after you have a couple drinks the night before, go to zbiotics.com/lemon, use the code lemon, you get 15% off. It's backed by a 100% money back guarantee. Drink responsibly. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon and use the code lemon and you get 15% off just for our users. You guys have no idea how many people walk up to me on the street. ZBiotics, I tried to get ZBiotics. I'm like, okay. It's like, thank you, ZBiotics. It's like they've become part of the show. Hello, everyone. Good evening, Lemon Land, Lemon Heads, Lemon Nation. Let's see. I feel like a change. I should change something here for a little bit. How do I do that? Anyway, anywho, I hope you guys are well. And I'll leave it. I was going to change my background colors and to see, and it's not connecting up. Yeah, it's not connecting. Anyway, I'll do it. I'll do it in the next show. Hi, everybody. I always do that so that you can do that. You can see fully. Lemon Live with Don Lemon. I love this sweatshirt. It's in our merch store, by the way. What's cracking, Jackin? Someone says, what's cracking in there? Pulitzer Prize, Don Lemon. You want me to get the Pulitzer? Yeah. I should. For what, though? What would I get the prize for? Hello, Baton Rouge. I see you. Hello, Andy from Delaware. Someone says you are trending. Am I? Oh, always. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I heard. Here's the weird thing. Let me tell you guys this. Here's a weird thing, especially not being on Twitter. And since I have a social media team, people will tell me like, oh my gosh, you're trending, or I'm sorry you got called out for this and blah, blah, blah. And I honestly will have no idea what they're talking about unless I go and research it. And so the same thing about someone says, I am trending. Don is trending for whatever. Oh yeah, you're definitely trending. Well, I heard that the president mentioned me in his White House briefing. By the way, we'll get to that. First order of business. Okay. Can you guys do what does that mean? You guys know. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, okay? Make sure you hit the thumbs up and the like, and it affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation. Also, I want to tell you guys I'll tell you at the beginning and the end. I really need you guys to go and vote for the NAACP Image Awards, because all of the votes that we did in the beginning, I don't think they registered, because when I got clarification from the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP Image Awards folks, if you could put it up, Andy, when you go in there, right? So in the top of donlemon.com, if you go in there, it has the 4 categories that I almost did the same thing I did on New Year's Eve. The 4 categories that we have in there, and then you click on it, right? And so everyone thought if you go in there and you click on it and you just hit, so you've already voted, you just hit that, and then you could hit it, that it's removed. But what you have to do is when you do that, you've got to back out to the main category that it's listed in, go to the bottom of the page and hit submit. You feel me? So if it's in the podcast category, whatever that is, you go in and you vote for me, and then you back out and you go to the category. See that? Then you back out and go to that category right there, or go where all the categories are, and then you hit submit. And so then if you go to the next one, what's the next one, Andy? If you go to the next category that we are nominated in, if you go back to donlemon.com and go back to the next category, which is outstanding podcast, right? News and information. You click Don again, and then you hit what? Do you just go back to all of the things, and then you go to the bottom of the page, and again, you hit submit now, right? And the same thing. So just keep doing that. And I think you can do it every 24 hours. I think it resets. So there you go. And then you go here. So then vote there. And then it's going to say, right, it'll do remove. And then you do what? What are you doing? Just hitting backwards, right, Andy?
Yeah, I'm going back to all categories.
Yeah, back to all categories, right? There's a thing that says back to all categories, and then you hit submit. And then Andy hit submit there, and you will have voted. And so you hit the submit at the bottom. There you go. Okay? And then, so saying, and what does that submit? What is that? It's
You got to put your email address, I guess.
So I think actually it's best to just vote for all 4 categories and then hit submit at the end. And then you'll see all of your 4 categories.
Oh, okay. So forget what I said. So go in and vote on all 4 categories and then back out and then hit submit. So you go to that category, go to all 4, go to 1, and then hit vote, and then go to the next one, and you hit vote, and you go to the next one, hit vote, and the next one, hit vote, and then you back out and you go to the main page and hit submit. You guys get it? Okay. So that's for the NAACP Image Award. Also, I just want to tell you, if you on donlemon.com, also D.L. Hughley and I are going to be in New York for 2 nights on the 2nd of, is it the 3rd and 4th? I think it's the 3rd and 4th. Yes, the 3rd and 4th of February. We're going to be in New York. So go, City Winery in New York, DL and DL. And these shows are going to be different. They're not going to be the same as the other shows. We've tweaked them a bit. And so it's really going to be unbelievable, especially considering what has been happening now since the last shows that we did. Okay. You don't want to miss this. Atlanta, I believe, is sold out. Can you check Atlanta, Andy, while we're here? Go to the first show in Atlanta on the 17th. And I told you guys this morning, you didn't believe me. There are still tickets in New York because we haven't been pushing them because I wasn't sure if I was going to go, what happened?
I don't know why it's not, it said, I thought it, hold on.
Dun, da, da, da. Oh, there it is. Okay. And what does it say? To the waiting list, right? Sold out. Sold out to the waiting list. Okay, back out and let's see if we can go to the second show. I think the second show is sold out too. Yeah, second show sold out. So you don't want that to happen in New York, okay, guys? So go do it now, or you'll be, and you're gonna miss it. You'll be like, oh my God, who was the special guest? What'd you guys do? And you'll be very upset. I know someone says I have tickets to Philly. Are you guys still coming? No, I'm not. I'm still coming, but not on that date because I'm going to be at the Grammys and the Super Bowl. And it's just too much. And I'm going to be at the NAACP Image Awards. And it's there was a scheduling conflict, okay? And getting from Los Angeles back to the East Coast was just way too much, okay? So thank you, guys. Thank you, Lemon Nation. Thank you for voting, all of the things. So I've got to be honest with you. Did you see that White House briefing? And this is a reason, before I talk to you about the White House briefing, this is the reason that I believe, or one of the reasons why I am trending is because I got name checked today in the briefing. And, Donald Trump attacking journalists and saying bad things about journalists to me. It's not the first time. I'm sure it won't be the last time. When during the first administration, he would say things about me. I stopped following him on Twitter. I stopped using Twitter. I still had an account and people would say, oh my God, I'm so sorry this happened. I get texts. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, Donald Trump is tweeting about you. Okay. Donald Trump is talking about me. He does it all the time, or he used to do it all the time. And now he's just like, I don't know. It used to be the dumbest man. And now I think he calls me a loser or whatever, but here it is. This is why I'm trending. What you guys were mentioning.
People are trying to protect because all ICE wants to do is get them out of our country, bring them to prisons and jails and mental institutions from where they came. That's all they want to do. They're patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did in that church was horrible yesterday. Look at it, 24 convictions. 24 times convicted.
Okay.
They're not charges, these are convictions.
I got a lot to say about all of that. He saw me when I walked into that church, whatever. I thought he didn't pay attention to me. Was he at the church? He saw me walk in? Because no one saw me walk in. I walked in after. Anyway, I won't go there. Okay. That's why I'm trending. And yeah. Look, we have a First Amendment, and journalists are protected under the First Amendment. Journalism, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press. And so I believe in the Constitution. I also believe that as a journalist that I have an oath. I feel that I take an oath to bring the story to the American people, to the world, just as doctors and attorneys have oaths to do no harm. And I feel that what would be doing harm to people is by covering things up, is by not bringing light to the situation. I think it would be a sin for me to be there in places, no matter where it is. It would be a sin. And I would be betraying my duty as a journalist and my duty as an American and the Constitution if I did not take every opportunity. Now, remember this, people, because they're so upset. You can't go to whatever. People in the church had cameras. That's why it's so bizarre to me. Like when people, like if you walk into, we were in Chicago and we went to a park and they said, oh, you can't have that camera here because it looks like a professional camera, but it's a small, one of the small cameras. I don't have the camera here, but it has a longer lens on it. And they say, you can't bring that camera in. And I said, well, what's the difference between this camera and a cell phone? Because the cell phone can actually expose more things than just this camera, because the cell phone camera is connected to the internet and the information can go out immediately without you checking to see if it's allowable, and you can be live with it. So the thing is that everybody has a phone now, right? And everybody has a device that can capture things. And so, there were people in the congregation who were capturing things. Are they in trouble? I'm just saying. Okay, I get tired of being quiet. I can't be quiet. It's a journalist's job is to tell the truth and to bring the information to the people, and then you decide. So anyways, I want to talk about, I have to be honest with you, what we saw tonight in that White House briefing room, that wasn't normal. And I don't mean like, I disagree with him. Like that's not that kind of not normal. I mean, like desperate. It's embarrassing. It was unsettling. Donald Trump didn't look like a president explaining, policy. He walked up there with the thing and he's like, here is my accomplishments. I have all of these accomplishments. Look, this is my accomplishment. What was that? Anytime someone has to do that, it shows you that they really are insecure about their accomplishments, or if they've accomplished anything at all, when they're desperate for people to give them accolades, desperate for because of the polling. The polling is so bad. And as he's standing there, I'm going to show you, he's talking about how great the economy is, his accomplishments of gas is this, and there's no evidence that what he's pointing out is true. Maybe there's some, one-offs in places. But as he's doing that, the stock market is cratering, like going off of a cliff because of the uncertainty. We're going to show you all of that. He looked like someone who is trying to convince himself that he's still in control. Not you, the American people, but himself, that he's still in control. Now, I don't know who came up with this gimmick in the White House. I don't know what like they think this is a good idea. It's not. It's bad. You guys are. This is bad. Now, what you're good at, White House, Trump folks, pardon me, and I believe that's in large part because of Donald Trump, because of his look, the man knows how to manipulate the media. He knows television. He knows, right, the Celebrity Apprentice. He knows newspapers. New York is a very, it used to be even more, very heavily tabloid or just newspaper delivery here. Not delivery here, but people read the newspapers a lot. People, especially the New York Post, they read the New York Post because it's like, it's like local town gossip, right? It's just like, people like candy. People are dependent. It's very newspaper dependent here is the word that I'm looking for. And so, back in the day, you'd have the New York Post, you had the Daily News, you'd have the Observer, you had the New York Times, and a bunch of things. You had, the Harlem newspapers, all of the papers. People just consume it. They love reading the papers. And so everyone reads the papers, and a lot of people here, especially if you live on the Upper East Side or whatever, a lot of people read the Page 6. Because it's just like the town gossip. They don't care if it's true or not. Much of it is not, but they just read it. So Donald Trump knows that world. So you got to give that to him. And So the one thing that they're good at is producing what looks like good television. Every single day is produced, right? We're going to do this. You go on the morning shows, and you're going to deliver this message, and you're going to do that. And then in the afternoon, we're going to do that. We'll have Caroline Levitt will do her thing. She'll lie and yell at the reporters or cut them off or whatever, before they can do a follow-up and before they get to the meat of what's happening. It's a show. It'll enrage people. Fox News will take the whole thing. And then the people at Fox News who watch Fox News will just sit on the couch all day. Maureen, can I have another whatever? Sure, honey. Right? And just the TV never changes. Well, why don't you get it yourself? I can't. Such and such and such is on, and you know what he's saying. I sound like a Southerner, and I'm from the South. That's how we talk down there. So that's what's, so they do that all day sitting in front of the television. And then after they get their thing. So then after the such and such, let's see, we're going to have, I don't have my pen over here. Oh, here it is. We're going to have the president is going to be in the Oval, and then he's going to talk to such and such. It's going to be, that's going to be good. That's good. Okay. Then he can follow up on Caroline. Then he'll contradict her, make her look like an idiot, whatever she said or whatever she was lying about. And they're going to do that, blah, 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 blah. And then we get ready. We get ready to go into prime time after that. Such and such will go in for a late afternoon or late evening or early evening, early prime. This person will go on the CNN. And then this person will go, we don't want to go on the MS. We don't want to go on the MS now. He says, no. They might challenge us. Not doing that. But we'll go on the Fox News, and then such and such will be on Newsmax, whatever. Oh, we're going to be on that. No, they're going to be on that. Now, what my big names on Fox News, because that's where the eyeballs are, right? But then you barely see some people over on another news network. It's all produced like television. I'm just telling you, that's how it is. So they're very good. And then they're very good at that. And then they go, let's go into prime time. And then you're going to be on Hannity, and you're going to be on this show, and you're going to be on that show, and you're going to blah, blah, blah. And then here is the message. This is the talking points. Outrageous. Now, who is our character? Now, there has to be a nemesis, right? You got an ingenue. I think they think Caroline Levitt is the ingenue. And then you have to have like the nemesis and the protagonist. And so you take someone that you deem as liberal and you make them a protagonist. And then it'll anger everyone. It doesn't matter what the story is. Similar to, let me just talk about it. Similar to what happened to me, right? The story is it's all about Epstein cover-up. Don't think I'm stupid that I don't know that. Okay, this is all about covering up for Epstein and other blunders from the blunders that came from covering up the Epstein files. And so then you have to have a protagonist, an antagonist, and you have to have an antagonist. And so what happens is you pick someone a character that you can connect the people to because it makes it more human, and the real story gets hidden in that. So the real story, as I see it, and is the truth, the real story is the pastor in Minnesota who is also works for ICE. The church, I am told, has confirmed that they have a pastor at the church who is also either connection to ICE, an ICE agent, or head of ICE, or advisor in ICE, or something to that, reportedly something to that nature. And so instead of talking about that, because they know, well, how are we going to have someone working for ICE and they're also a pastor, and what about the church's tax exempt status? They don't want to talk about that story. Instead, let's talk about the people who went into the church. That's fine. But then oh my God, they hate Don Lemon. Let's make Don Lemon the main character of the story, even though he's a journalist. Now, if someone from Fox News was there reporting it and they were saying these people went into the church and look at what happened, they'd be like, we're so glad that Fox News and such is a great reporter because he got it on camera and we can see what happened. But if it's someone else, then they will say, okay, the people hate him. He's the biggest name, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what we'll make the story about. And they'll forget about this pastor and the Epstein files, And then they will be like, Don Lemon, yeah, that guy's bad. You guys think people are stupid, right? Maybe, but and they don't like that I'm telling you this because that's what's happening. That is what is happening. And it's not just me. That happens with every single story. If you look at it, the default is, even from the MAGA faithful that watch the TV all the time, the Fox News all the time, or the conservative media, it's always a default to Joe Biden, a default to Kamala Harris, a default to Barack Obama, or some bad Democrat. Or look at what happened with this. We've got to get these illegal aliens out of here because of the open borders. And when the facts show that most of the people they're rounding up have no criminal record. So what do you think that show was today in the White House? For Donald Trump coming out today in the White House, I'm bringing it all home for you, with all the faces of the people who were there, it's because they're losing in the polling as it relates to immigration and what these ICE agents and federal agents are doing to people on the streets of America, in American cities, on the streets of American cities. And so people don't like it. It does not look good. And so they show all of these pictures of these very dangerous men, they say, allegedly. We don't know because they're not transparent about it. We don't know if they actually do have criminal records or what they're saying is true. They just put their faces up on a poster or a thing that says, most wanted, and this is what it is. How do you know? Prove it. Show it. Show the warrant and show the information to the American people. But you don't know that. You see daycare workers being rounded up, people who are out mowing lawns being rounded, people who are working in the Target, all of those things when you see them being rounded up. And the last reporting that we have, 70% plus, I think it's like 73%, if I'm not, and I stand corrected, somewhere in the 70s, of the people don't have no prior criminal convictions. And for the ones who have, really bad criminal convictions, violent ones, it's even fewer. It's far fewer. Of course, you're going to get some people who are bad, all of it. And they don't want you to hear the facts that the vast majority of the crime in this country is committed by native-born people, Americans, not immigrants, not migrants, not undocumented immigrants. Most undocumented immigrants are afraid to commit crimes because they don't want to be exposed and they don't want to be deported. Now, are you going to find criminals in every different ethnicity? No matter everyone in every different background, no matter how you got to this country, whether you came over on an airplane or you walked over or you swam over or whatever it is, you took a bicycle, whatever you did, a hot air balloon, you're going to find someone is going to commit a crime because that's just human nature. But to try to stand there in the White House today, and when I hear the talking points from people all the time and you show them the facts, they don't want to hear it. Now you're a biased journalist because I'm giving you facts. I'm trying to tell you. And then why don't you listen sometimes about how immigrants, documented or otherwise undocumented, how they actually contribute to society? Are there bad people? Of course there are. There's no perfect person or demographic. But to stand there and try to demonize immigrants by saying we're going after the most vile and dangerous criminals. I've been out there. I've interviewed the people. You've seen them, not just on my program, but on other programs. You've seen the people who are American citizens and they don't care, who have papers to actually show them and they don't care. Passports, driver's licenses, social security cards, government papers, and they don't care. Green cards, they don't care. It is a lie. Now, is it all of the people they're picking up? No, they're picking up some undocumented people. Don't get me wrong. When we say there are no warrants, it doesn't mean that they don't have warrants for everybody. It is a general statement. For a lot of these people, they do not have warrants. And the protocol is, what the rules show, you're not supposed to be busting people's windows out. You're not supposed to be manhandling people like that. You're not supposed to be walking up to people on the street saying you have an accent, show me your ID, show me your papers. This is not some, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say it's not some dictator authoritarian country, but maybe it is what we are. But I'm going off right now. I'm going off. I'm sorry. Are you okay? I'm just going off because it's really outrageous. It's a show. And he comes up there today. I was watching going, this reeks of desperation. He's trying to convince the American people, but more so he's trying to convince himself. When he came out waving those pictures, actual photos just holding them up like this proof of something, alleged ICE detainees, alleged crimes, no context, no explanation, images meant to scare people who are watching at home. And the whole time I'm thinking, why are we doing this? Why is the president of the United States standing there like a cable news guest holding up printouts? Why is he doing that? He says they're dangerous and all of the blah, 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 blah. And also, he said that they're bad people. It's desperate. You could feel, not the desperation in the room. You can feel in the desperation in the room where I was watching, and I'm nowhere near the White House. The tension, the snapping, the way he lost his temper. The way he lost his temper, the way he sort of lost where he was going. And you didn't understand, like, why is he standing there? And I think they said they sent him out there and he had like 360, however many days it's been, 365, like examples of accomplishments that they did. But I don't think he really explained that. So people were kind of confused, like, why is this man rambling? Why is this man rambling? And then the questions, of course, turned to Greenland and the Nobel Prize. And that's when it really, really, really went off the rails. The New York Times is reporting that Greenland, NATO threats tank the economy. That's what the New York Times is reporting. So he's up there talking about NATO and Greenland. And then, guess what? The stock market has the stocks post biggest drop in months as tension over Greenland mounts. But he's saying we have the best economy in the world. The hottest country in the world. And wait, that's not all. More after a word from our sponsors. This episode of the Don Lemon Show today is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, a new year doesn't require a whole new you. Sometimes it just means a less burdened you. Therapy can help you sort through what's weighing on you, what you need to let go of, and give you a clear, unbiased space to understand yourself better. That's where BetterHelp comes in. Their therapists are fully licensed and carefully vetted. You fill out a very quick questionnaire and they match you with someone who fits your needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time. With over 30,000 therapists and more than 5 million people served, BetterHelp makes therapy accessible and flexible, all online. Get 10% off of your first month at betterhelp.com/DonLemon. That's betterhelp.com/DonLemon. The Don Lemon Show is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. You know, equality under the law only works when the government stays neutral. The First Amendment wasn't written to protect one religion. It was written to protect all of us. And right now that promise is under threat from Christian nationalists who believe their beliefs should control everyone's lives. The Freedom from Religion Foundation is pushing back by defending students, families, and communities from religious coercion. So if you believe freedom means freedom for everyone, join them. Go to ffrf.us/New Year, or you can text Don to 511-511. That's ffrf.us/New Year, or text Don to 511-511. Help protect a country that belongs to all of us. Text fees may apply. And thank you so much to our sponsors. So let me get back. I want to back up for a little bit before I start talking about Greenland and what happened with the economy. I'm going to show you that. But I just want to finish out. Let me finish out with Minnesota, because Donald Trump did take questions after this press conference, and he took a question about Renee Nicole Good's death. And here's what he had to say.
And we're met with paid agitators and insurrectionists, troublemakers. They're paid. You know, when the woman was shot, and I felt terribly about that. And I understand both sides of it. But when she was shot, there was another woman that was screaming shame, 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 right? You saw it. So loud. She was like a professional opera singer. She was so loud and so professional. She wasn't a woman that was hurt, like, oh, my heart's injured. She was a professional. She's shame, shame. She's screaming, shame, shame. I said, that's not a normal person. That's a professional. These are professional agitators and professional people that want to see our country do badly. But that's not happening because we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, despite this stuff.
Okay, couple things there. I think he's talking about the woman's wife. I think he is. And I mean, you know, someone who's dealt with grief lately, you can't kind of regulate that, so to speak. Especially in the moment, there's shock, so you don't know how people are going to react. But you guys remember, so that shame. And by the way, they throw that professional agitator thing in there, like that means something, like, oh my God, these are professional agitators, or they're paid or whatever. I don't know if they're paid or not, but if they work for an organization that, you know, maybe there's an organization that has protesters, or an advocacy organization, you know, maybe, who knows, maybe they are paid, meaning they get some sort of expenses or stipend. I don't know, but I don't think that's illegal in the United States. And so they have to find they're paid. They can't believe that people will just show up voluntarily to do the right thing and to fight for people's rights. It's just shocking to them that happens, but they do. But even if they were paid, okay, who cares? They're paid. All right. Fine. May not like it, but I don't think it's illegal. But every single time they point it out. And the other thing is, do you remember how pissed off, I hate that word, but I'll say it, that MAGA was the president? Everybody, how dare you criticize Erica Kirk? When people said, oh my God, is she, what stage of grief is this? How many WWE rallies are you going to have? Do you remember that? And now you're saying basically the same thing about this woman, but not days after it happened, but like in the moment of this person's death, witnessing that. You don't, I mean, when someone, you don't know if you're going to scream, cry, or have a heart attack when you witness someone get shot, especially if it's someone you love. But then days later, weeks later, to be having these rallies, I'm just saying. So check yourself, Donald Trump. And then another comment about what happened in Minnesota, where he talks about, well, and not just in Minnesota, but all around. And, you know, people have been criticizing Greg Bovino and the shots, the photographs that were taken, the video that was taken of him in the cold with a coat on that looks like sort of a Third Reich, sort of Nazi coat. You've seen it. It's all over the internet. When people are sort of people are comparing that to that, saying, oh my God, this looks like the Gestapo. I'm saying that's what's on social media. And I'm sure there have been some reports about it as well, the comparison of the two. So he's saying, to kind of bolster what people are saying online, Donald Trump is saying that the streets and towns of America look better when there are military people on them in uniform.
They were picking up garbage and everything. They were great. And I don't know, to me, a town, it looks better when you have military people. These are big, strong guys, are bad guys. Look at them and they say, we're not going to mess around. But
now, do we want members of the Guard? I mean, I guess they can, but do we want, aren't they better? Isn't there better use of their time and resources and abilities than to be picking trash up? And what are we, North Korea? Where we want militarized streets? What? Yeah. That's what he wants. That's what he says he likes. It looks good. It looks good. Now let's get to NATO. Because as he was talking about NATO, basically what Donald Trump is saying is the world order that we have had since NATO was put into place is no longer. So basically what he did today effectively was to end NATO, not formally, but effectively was to end NATO. And then lied about NATO. He wants Greenland because he's afraid that our allies won't come to our rescue if somehow someone is attacked through, I don't know, Greenland. It's bizarre. But anyway, this is Donald Trump on Greenland and the breaking of NATO. Here it is.
If a consequence of your determination to take control of Greenland is the ultimate breakup of the NATO alliance, is that a price you're willing to pay?
You mean the breakup of it's very
the
interesting
NATO
question.
alliance?
So I think something's going to happen that's going to be very good for everybody. Nobody's done more for NATO than I have, as I said before, in every way. Getting them to go up to 5% of GDP was something that nobody thought was possible, and pay. At 2% they weren't paying. At 5% they are paying. And they're buying a lot of things from us, and they're giving them, I guess, to Ukraine. That's up to them, but they're giving them to whoever they're giving them to, but they're buying a lot. I think that we will work something out where NATO is going to be very happy and where we're going to be very happy. But we need it for security purposes. We need it for national security and even world security. It's very important. How about it?
Okay, so let's talk about that. Donald Trump has said he needed it for his own psyche. I believe it was him. That was the direct quote from him. All right, that's what I believe, if memory serves me well. So Greenland, we have military assets in Greenland already. They've already told us we can have access and have as many assets there as we want, and we have full access to Greenland. So to think that that Greenland makes us, but them owning Greenland, the Dutch, that we are, the Norwegians, that we are somehow in more and bigger jeopardy, and there's more danger there for us just because we don't own it. We already have the military assets there. We have people there. We can defend ourselves there. And for him, he's worried that maybe our allies won't come to our rescue. The story is, and these are the facts, that's why I like dealing with journalism. The only time, Article 5, you attack one, you attack all, right? And then so your allies have to come to your defense. So if someone attacks a NATO country, NATO is obligated. That's part of what NATO is to defend the country that's under attack. So him saying, I don't know, it's a lie. And this is reportedly what people believe and what he believes. He wants to be on Mount Rushmore. And the folks who are on Mount Rushmore, I am told, this is what I'm told, is that the only way that you can get on Mount Rushmore, or to make sure that you do get on Mount Rushmore, is to expand the land of the United States. The amount of land to acquire new land in the United States. So he wants to do that in Greenland, and then he can get his face on Mount Rushmore. So this whole thing about, and he does it, he actually thinks, I believe he thinks that Greenland is much bigger than it is. I think he thinks it's much bigger than what it is, because he doesn't understand about how people, the sizing for maps, I forget what it's called. If you got modeling or so, I forget what it's called. In the chat, let me know. If you're in Europe and you buy an atlas, so you look at it, then Europe looks enormous, right? And if you look at a map with the United States, if you live in the United States looks enormous. So depending on where you are in the world and you're looking at it, so they make it bigger so you can understand and see, you can see it clearer, the land mass and the regions where you are. So he actually thinks that Greenland is probably, yes, I know there's a Mercator, right? But he thinks that Greenland is much bigger than what it is. So it's Mercator, right? Projection, there it is. Thank you. That's it. Yeah. So he doesn't understand it's tiny, it's small. It's not that big. And that we're good. He's lying about this. Allegedly. I have to start saying allegedly all the time. Donald Trump is saying he lost respect for Norway because, I guess, Greenland. Here it is.
You told Norway's prime minister.
Are you from Norway?
No, pardon me. Sorry. Because of the Nobel Prize, I think. Go ahead, keep going.
You look like you would be familiar, but she looks like she's from Norway. Go ahead.
You told Norway's prime minister that you not winning the Nobel Peace Prize made you feel less obligated to think purely of peace.
Well, I lost a lot of respect for Norway. And I believe very strongly that Norway controls the Nobel Prize. But you have to understand, I settled 8 wars. I've had every one of those wars, every participant wrote, I didn't ask him to do it. They sent strong they make recommendations for that. But I settled 8 wars. No president's probably ever settled 1 war. I don't know, think of it. I did 8. The reason I do it is because it's easy for me to do. And I didn't do it for a Nobel Prize. I did it because I'm saving a lot of lives. I'm trying to settle the final one. I'm trying to do Russia, Ukraine. And when Russia's ready, Ukraine's not. When Ukraine's ready, Russia's not. But they're losing 25,000 people a month on average. And I'm trying to get that one done. But no, I feel that Norway has tremendous control over who gets the Nobel Prize, despite what they say.
Okay. Jesus. Okay, so he's 8 wars. I mean, it went from like 6 to 8 to 10 to whatever, and who knows? And look, talk to a fact checker. Go, Daniel Dale. Go talk to Daniel Dale about that. He'll tell you what the facts are regarding that over at the CNN. But he said that there are no presidents. He doesn't believe that there are any. This is how he doesn't know that there are any other presidents who have settled wars. Teddy Roosevelt might want to say something about that. He negotiated the end of the Japanese War, the Russo-Japanese War, and he was awarded with the 1906 Nobel Peace Prize. He was an American president, settled a war. Jimmy Carter facilitated the Camp David Accords, a peace treaty between Egypt and Israel that ended 3 decades of hostility. Harry Truman oversaw the conclusion of World War II in both the European and Pacific theaters. Dwight D. Eisenhower negotiated the truce that ended the fighting in the Korean War in July of 1953. Richard Nixon negotiated the end of the direct U.S. participation in the Vietnam War. Gerald Ford oversaw the final withdrawals of U.S. involvement in Vietnam with the fall of Saigon. Andrew Johnson, Civil War, presided over the conclusion of the Civil War following Lincoln's assassination. George H.W. Bush led the coalition that ended the Persian Gulf War. And then, of course, the one that that immediately came to mind for me was Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Ronald Reagan recognized for his role in diplomatic efforts to lead efforts that led to the end of the Cold War. I don't think there are any other presidents because he thinks there are no other presidents before him. And he's saying there's going to be no other presidents after him, not as long as he's alive. But now back to the Peace Prize. He says he lost respect for Norway because of that. And I thought this was a very astute question from a reporter. Why are you fixated on the Peace Prize? That was after that thing, and because I've ended all these wars and I deserve a Peace Prize or whatever. And he thinks that Norway is in control of that. But then a reporter asked him, an astute reporter says, "Well, how does a Nobel Prize, you winning the Nobel Prize, help Americans?" Here it is.
You promised during your second inaugural to always put America first. I'm curious, how would you winning the Nobel Peace Prize improve the lives of average, everyday Americans? Why is this prize so important?
It wouldn't improve the lives of any. What improved the lives of people are people that are living. I saved probably tens of millions of lives in the wars. If you add up the numbers, just if you look at any one of those wars, you're talking about millions of people. You multiply it times 8. But when you look at India and Pakistan, that could have been 10, 15, 20 million people. Could have been more than that. So I saved millions of people. So that, to me, is the big thing.
I can't take it. Oh, my God. Can you imagine having an ego that fragile? What president, what diplomat, what person who has any degree of dignity in class, who begs for a prize like that? Like, who begs for a Nobel Peace Prize, especially when you're that way? It's not like he's being nominated for an Emmy Award. Okay, hey, always support me. It's a Nobel Peace Prize. This is something that's much bigger and more important and grander. This is like the real deal. This isn't that. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Donald Trump, attention, Donald Trump, please pay attention to this matter. I wish I had a little, the thing that you do with the bell. I wish I had that. Andy, do you have a bell sound anywhere or a buzzer or an alert? This attention, Donald Trump. Attention. Someone needs to tell him and sit him down and say this. Attention, Mr. President. With all due respect, we don't need all of these histrionics. You have won the biggest prize in the world ever, and you don't ever have to worry about a prize, is that you have become president of the United States, the biggest democracy in the world. You don't have to worry about peace prizes or any other prize. You don't have to worry about, you have won the biggest prize. Sit in that. It's the same as when people would say to people who accomplished many, many things in their lives. They would say, I wish such and such would just sit down and understand that they don't have to keep striving, that they're a legend. Live in your legendariness, your legend. Live in your iconography or icon. You have achieved the biggest prize I think that most people can achieve, at least for recognition, rather than, the Peace Prize. But you've won the biggest prize. So what are you worried about it for? So actually, if you go in there and you do the work, since you've won that big prize, and you actually really do the work instead of just talking about doing the work, and maybe if you stop patting yourself on the back so much, people would respect you more and they'd understand he's really about the peace and not just the prize. That he's really about that. If you could just get people to understand by just putting your head down and doing the work, that you are actually about the peace and not just the prize, because you're reeking of desperation. You can tell it, you can smell it on people when they're desperate. So maybe you should be more like Barack Obama, like, hey, I'm going to solve these wars, and then I'm going to go on and I'm going to do some healthcare. And then tomorrow I'm going to wear a tan suit. And then I'm going to take my wife out to a date on date night in Washington, D.C. And then all the cameras are going to show up because they're like, man, they are really in love. Look at them popping that young, fresh, good-looking couple. Just a couple notes from Barack Obama. That's how you do it.
We're having some network issues here. I'm just going to go right to the break.
This episode of the Don Lemon Show is brought to you by Graza. I love to cook for friends, and Graza has completely leveled up my kitchen. Graza is my olive oil of choice. It's fresh, it's flavorful, and made for everyday cooking. They pick, press, and bottle their olives in the same season, and you can even see the harvest date on the bottle. Graza has 2 oils I always keep on hand. Sizzle is perfect for cooking, roasting, and sauteing. Drizzle is bold and punchy, great for finishing dishes, breads, salads, even desserts. You can taste the quality, and they look great on the counter too. You can get 20% off of your first order at graza.co with the code LEMON. It's Graza, Graza.co, and make sure you use the code LEMON. Now, I recommend the duo. You'll probably want both. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Shopify. When I started the Don Lemon Show, I had to figure out everything: scripts, setup, schedules, merch. It was overwhelming. Shopify made it manageable. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses and powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. We use Shopify to bring you the merch that you love, that you said we want it. I didn't want it, but now you want it and you got it. And it's selling in large part because of Shopify. You don't need to be a designer. Shopify has beautiful templates ready to go. Their AI tools help with product descriptions, images, and even discount codes. And they help you reach the customers with email and social campaigns. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Start your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon.
Until Don gets back, here is the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney.
We understand that this rupture calls for more than adaptation. It calls for honesty about the world as it is. We are taking the sign out of the window. We know the old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just. This is the task of the middle powers. The countries that have the most to lose from a world of fortresses and a most to gain from genuine cooperation. The powerful have their power. But we have something too. The capacity to stop pretending, to name reality, to build our strength at home, and to act together. That is Canada's path. We choose it openly and confidently, and it is a path wide open to any country willing to take it with us.
So that was, I'm back. Sorry, we had a little bit of a connectivity issue there, but that's Mark Carney. They're speaking out about Donald Trump. And, you know, it's no different pretty much of what the French president said earlier today. And with the Democratic leader, the UK, for the Democratic or the liberal leader in the UK. Emmanuel Macron spoke about bullying, about science, and about respect. And I think our allies, what they truly want from us is respect. So that's what I was saying. If Donald Trump would just sit and respect himself and sit in his, you know, being the president of the United States and being about the peace instead of the prize, he might actually get a peace prize. He might actually get some respect from allies. He might actually get a lot of things that he was not even expected to get, that he wouldn't expect to get himself. The interesting thing is, when talking about the Peace Prize, Donald Trump says he thinks that God is proud of him. Here it is.
Thank you very much. First of all, last year you told me that you believe that the reason you won the election is because God put you in this place so that you could save the world. Looking back 1 year, do you feel like God is proud of the effort that you've put in?
I do, actually. I think God is very proud of the job I've done. And that includes for religion. You know, we're protecting a lot of people that are being killed, Christians and Jewish people, and lots of people are being protected by me that wouldn't be protected by another type of president. No, I think a lot of people are very proud of the job we've done. We've had an amazing year. This has been one of the greatest years. Even some people that wouldn't necessarily love me instinctively, they're saying this was an incredible year. We've had an
The thing about narcissists is that they don't see their own psychosis. They don't see their own narcissism. What person stands up there like that? This is a me. Most people are like the American people, the American people, the American people, the American people. The least of these, the least of these. Me. I want a prize. I want Greenland. It's really sad. And Mark Carney is not the only one who is, Mark Carney is saying this is a rupture. Which one did you play? The Order? What is it? The Old Order isn't coming back? Which one did you play?
Yeah, I played the Old Order one.
The Old Order isn't coming back, meaning the respect that we had under Barack Obama and Joe Biden, that's not coming back. We're in a whole different place now. And Mark Carney is saying this is a rupture. Watch.
We knew the story of the international rules-based order was partially false. That the strongest would exempt themselves when convenient. That trade rules were enforced asymmetrically. And we knew that international law applied with varying rigor depending on the identity of the accused or the victim. This fiction was useful. And American hegemony in particular helped provide public goods, open sea lanes, a stable financial system, collective security, and support for frameworks for resolving disputes. So we placed the sign in the window. We participated in the rituals. And we largely avoided calling out the gaps between rhetoric and reality. This bargain no longer works. Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, Great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. You cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit through integration when integration becomes the source of your subordination.
Our allies are fed up, man. They are really, really sick of it. So that's where this really went off the rails, is when they started talking about Greenland and the Nobel Prize. I want to play this now. This is Tom Nichols and Mark Hertling, General Mark Hertling, discussing illegal orders regarding Greenland. Remember, Democrats got in trouble for telling people the right thing, saying you don't have to obey or follow unlawful orders. And this is Tom Nichols and Mark Hertling discussing illegal orders as it relates to Greenland.
I mean, are you saying, General Hertling, that if they were asked to, I can't get the words out of my mouth, attack Greenland, that would be an illegal order?
Well, if it were to happen tomorrow, then yes, because Greenland by statute is part of Denmark, which is an allied nation, part of the 32 members of NATO. So you brought up at the top of the show about how it would institute a dynamic within the NATO headquarters where, you know, the key questions of both Article 4 and Article 5 is, do you have to be protected from some type of foreign invasion if you're a member of NATO? And do you come together in Brussels to debate that? So any nation that might be attacked, in this case Denmark, one of their outlying islands, has been attacked. So they would immediately go to NATO headquarters and say, let's invoke those articles that NATO is so famous for. So yeah, it would be illegal, in my view, to do that. Now, I'm not a lawyer or an international affairs guru in terms of the legal implications of something like that. But I got to tell you, Nicole, if I was in command of a large organization and was asked to do that, I certainly would throw the question down. Tom was baiting me a minute ago. He knows to do that very well, saying, where are the rest of the military guys standing up to say this? Well, some of them will stand up, and there have been several that have already retired. You're never going to see the active duty guys say this, but I'm hoping that they are fighting behind the scenes to say, we can't do this. Mr. President, this is wrong. And that's the kind of thing we saw in the first administration when General Milley and General Kelly and Secretary Esper were all telling him he could not do the kinds of things he wanted to do.
And so there you go. If he does invade Greenland, he said during this press conference that I think that we're going to work something out with NATO. Are they obligated to step in to prevent the United States from doing? I don't know. I believe that we are at a NATO crisis right now. Remind me, producers, did we put up? Was there a video or a photo of Donald Trump speaking in the stock market tanking? Do we have that?
Yeah, I have it.
You have it. Okay, so let's put that up. So as he was doing all of these antics, so this is a screen grab. Is this a screen grab, right? Oh, is he talking?
Yeah.
So he's talking about. Is he talking about the stock market there and about how great America is?
Yes, how good the economy is, how strong.
Back it up and let's play it, Andy.
Actually, officially 12 months as of today.
Pause, please.
50.
Okay, now I want you to look at the stock market right there. As he's talking, I want you to keep that in mind. Donald Trump is talking. Do they do this on Fox News? They run their ticker or whatever, the stock market. So the market, the Dow's down 845 points, right? And which is where it eventually closed, or around that area, right? In that ballpark, right? Yes, Peter. I think.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And so it closed in that ballpark. But here he is talking about how great things are, and the stock market is tanking. Here it is.
All-time record highs. That means 401ks did great. I have people see me all the time, policemen that guard us really well, and got to know them a little bit. And they said, sir, you're making me look so good. My 401k is through the roof. My wife thinks I'm the greatest genius, that I'm a financial genius, like Warren Buffett.
Let me tell you what happened today after he talked about NATO and all of that, okay? because economically the European Union is the largest single market in the world, and they will immediately be compelled to respond to it under article whatever. And we're talking about perhaps what Donald Trump does with that. And let's see, the U.S. economy. I want to get to the part where Peter talked about. Peter, I don't know. Did you tell me about the stock market? I'm not sure. I think that we lost basically all the gains from 2026.
Correct.
In one day.
And it's the worst day for the stock market since Andy observed, I think, since October of last year.
But we have the hottest country in the world. The hottest country in the world. It's just, and as he is talking about that. And so one wonders, the Dow slides 870 points, S&P 500 drops 2% for the worst day since October on Trump tariff threat over Greenland. And then they were giving live updates on the CNBC. But he's saying how great it is. And he wonders why Americans are worried or concerned about the economy and concerned about their wallets and what they're paying for things. And they should be concerned. And so should you. You should be concerned. Now, I told you on this show, I have sponsors, and I only have sponsors that I like, that I believe in, things that I use, or I think that they can help you, like we did with Chapter during the Medicare open enrollment to get you better, because there were things that were changing with Medicare and healthcare, and they're still changing. People don't know. Have you tried to sign up for healthcare? It's crazy. Okay. And now the same thing with finances, especially after the holidays when people are feeling a bit of a pinch. So I think that we partnered with someone that I believe can help you. And here it is. Are you stressing about your credit card bills after the holidays? A lot of people are. And that's why this is important for you to listen to. Pay attention, please. If you're a homeowner, now may be the perfect time to call American Financing. The Fed has dropped rates again, and American Financing can help you access your home equity at rates in the low fives. That is a big difference from credit cards charging 20% or more. Their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise. There are no upfront fees, no obligation, and some loans close in as fast as 10 days with the option to delay 2 mortgage payments. So call, here's the number, 888-675-4090, 888-675-4090, or visit americanfinancing.net/lemon. americanfinancing.net/lemon. Again, so listen, there's no obligation. You can just check it out, and there you go. All right, so hopefully that can help some people. Check it out, and let me know what you think, okay? So I looked at the thing. I looked a little tired. I'm tired. I've been traveling so much, everyone. And let me know in the comments what you think about this. Today, I was just watching that press conference, and I said, what world are we in right now? What is happening in this world? What's happening with our lives? Where did we go off to the wrong path? Like, which fork? Did we take the wrong fork in the road? Did we take the wrong fork in the road? Where we have a president now who's obsessed with Greenland, and he talks about it like it's some open piece of land that nobody's paying attention to. It's like, oh, do you own that lot, that empty lot that never gets mowed? Like, America hasn't already been in Greenland for decades. Like I said, we already have access to Greenland. We already have military assets in Greenland. We already operate bases there. What Donald Trump is trying to do is get you to, you're living in his psychosis. Denmark and Greenland have already agreed to let us expand that presence that we already have. That is real. It's already happening. So when Donald Trump talks about Greenland like, it's some bold new idea, that tells you something. That he doesn't know it's already in place, or he's just being completely dishonest about it, or he just doesn't really care. And I think all of the above can be true. And he's worried that if someone attacked us through Greenland, that our allies might not come to help. I don't know how else to say it, except this is just wrong. The only time NATO, as I said again, ever invoked Article 5, that I believe this is to be true, was after 9/11 and after we were attacked, and every single ally showed up, every single one of them. They didn't debate it. They didn't hesitate. They came. They came to our defense and said, we're supporting the United States of America, whatever it is that you have to do. So when he suggests that our allies wouldn't have our backs, Now, he's not just rewriting history. I think that's disrespectful, and that's why those leaders came out today, and somewhat because he's been saying, similar things, because it's disrespectful of the people and the countries and our allies who stood with us when we needed them the most. That's why Carney is saying that this is an inflection point. This is a change. The old world order is over. It's exactly that. It's old. And then saying that NATO is not our ally. I don't think you have to be an expert on foreign policy to understand how serious that is. When the president of the United States says that something like that, and when he says it out loud on the cameras, that changes everything. You don't have to file paperwork. It doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to make it official. Those words alone, I believe, do all the damage. How do you build alliances? You build alliances on trust. And I think one sentence can, and especially a poorly constructed sentence, can really break that trust. And so when he says things like that, you know who's really paying attention? It's Russia. It's China. It's every authoritarian leader who's been waiting to see if America is going to blink. And are we blinking right now? Yes. They're watching him say that we don't stand by our partners anymore. And so what does that do? That emboldens them. It emboldens them. Andy, what is this one in the queue that you want me to play? Does it have to do with this, what I'm talking about, or no?
With Greenland, yeah. It's Jesse Waters talking about Greenland.
All right, here we go. Let's play it.
We have to secure Greenland. It will happen. Dana is right. She's never been wrong in any of her predictions. The United States always secures our interests economically, militarily, either by force or purchase. Louisiana purchase, Alaska, the Philippines. We even got the Marshall Islands after World War II. You don't even know where they are, Greg.
Yeah.
We got the moon. I think we own it. And I know we own it. And when the world changes, we change. So globalism's dead. We have to protect our own supply lines. We have to protect ourselves from missiles coming in from China. And we're going to do it whether they like it or not.
Missiles coming in from China. Okay. Wow. All right, man, it must be. Can you imagine what that's like you can operate in a fact-free world on television like that and still be called a news organization? Yeah. That's the world that we live in right now. If you would like to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, go to donlemon.com. We told you at the top of the show how to vote for us for NAACP Image Awards. You just click on the category. When you go in there, you hit the button next to or under my name, and then you click the all categories button, right? It's at the top left right there, all categories, and then you go down to the bottom of the page and you hit submit vote. I think it says. Does it say submit vote, Andy? Is that what it says? Anyways, it says submit now, and that's what you do. And you can click on, but go and do. Go vote in all 4 categories first. So just go through the 4 categories, and then once you're done voting in all 4 of the categories, you back out and then you hit that submit now to go to the all categories and hit that submit now. Okay. And don't forget about D.L. Hughley and I are going to be in New York City on February. That's at the top of donlemon.com as well. February 3rd and 4th at City Winery. You can get your tickets now. The Atlanta shows on 2/17 and 2/18 are sold out. Maybe we'll add a 3rd night. We'll see. We'll check with the venue. People have been asking. Okay. And then also people have been wondering how you get this. You can get it from our merch store. But that's on donlemon.com as well. But here is the most important thing. Oh, there's a subscribe button. Did we put the subscribe button on donlemon.com? Is that what I see? Is it subscribe to donlemon.com or subscribe to? Okay.
I think it's an email address subscription. Yeah.
Well, we'd like to have some addresses to folks. You can put your email information, then you subscribe. Oh, and folks, they'll get the alerts. That's what that is. But you can go to the YouTube thing. What is that? Wait, this is covering.
I know it looks weird right now. I don't know why.
Yeah, we need to fix that, whatever that is. But click on the arrow. It's right there by my right leg. If you see that, that looks like the YouTube little play button, and then become a subscriber. That's how we stay viable out here on these streaming streets. Become a subscriber and become a member. And welcome to all of our new members, including Stephanie Nearly, Stephen Early, or Stephen Early. Thank you very much for, and welcome to the Lemon Nation. So become a member. Our memberships are very reasonable. All you have to do is hit join, and you'll see them. And then it's become a subscriber. Subscriptions are free. You can do that on Twitch as well. So my YouTube, one of my Twitch subscribers is telling me that she is, that she is also, I think it's a she that went by on the thing, is also a YouTube subscriber. So you can go to twitch.tv/Don Lemon and subscribe. But whatever platform that you are on, I want you to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the like, all of the things. I don't know what's happening with the website. We'll have to check that out after the show, Andy. It's weird. But anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate all the support. Welcome to all of our new members. We love it. Andy, can we, since it's been a rough week already and it's only Tuesday, can we get the song for the people, but just the short version, not the long version, okay? Because someone reminded me in the thing that this is all about Epstein. It's a big distraction. But this is Matt Gregory, who wrote the show theme. We didn't ask him to. He told us we can use it. The short version for me, Andy. Here's the song, everybody.
It's the Don Lemon Show. It's the Don Lemon Show. He's unmasking the truth. He don't take no shit. It's the Don Lemon Show. Don Lemon. Don, 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 Don. Release the Epstein files.
There's a long version, but we'll wait for the end of the week for that one. So thank you guys. Be informed without being inundated until I see you back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time here on the Don Lemon Show, Don Lemon channel. Turn the TV off. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.